Hello, and welcome to today's episode of the Trish Lynn Show. Today, Julie is coming on, and we are talking all about resilience in the face of adversity. And her story and her experience is so fucking powerful. I cannot wait. There she is, to have this conversation. For those of you who sometimes feel like you are alone, you guys, when we connected, she's like, I can talk about this, and this. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to talk about it all, because there are so many women that still feel alone in the things that they go through and in the things that they experience. And this show is literally here to let you see that you are not alone, that we all go through things behind the scenes, not just, the glam that you see on the camera. And I want to be able to share this, do all of the things, because that is what real life is, not just the glitz and glam of social media and the highlight reel that you see. Your camera is facing the wrong way. There we go.
Hello, can you hear
Yeah,
me? Okay.
yeah, you're good.
Okay. My phone sometimes has a tendency to glitch on the sound, so I want to make sure you can hear me loud and clear.
Yeah, you're perfect. So I was just sharing, I love yours. I don't know your full story, but I love the pieces that you shared with me, and I can't wait for you to share these with everyone else who comes in and catches the episode, because so many women feel alone in so many things, and this is one of the purposes of the show, and why I wanted to start the show, is to bring awareness to, hey, we all face shit here behind the scenes, and we've come out on top. If we can do it, you can do it too. So I would love for you to come on. One, thank you for coming on the show. Introduce yourself. Let everyone know who you are and what you do. And then I would love to dive into your story.
Wow. Okay. So you can hear me, right? Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So first of all, thank you for having me as being a part of this experience. I haven't been live in so long, so um, yeah. So it's gonna be interesting because I mean, not only your people are gonna be watching, but mine as well. So a lot of people are gonna be hearing. This is gonna go quite viral. So yeah, I'm Julie. I'm a visibility strategist, a community builder, female empowerment advocate. I love to help women, especially if you're introverted, boost visibility in your business, because I think it's really important if you're somebody who's introvert, you're shy, you're quiet, and you want to get yourself out there, and you really just need that person, that mentor, that person to hold you accountable, to give you that support so that you can show up online to the best of your ability, be your authentic self. And yeah, I'm sure you could understand, but that's what I try to coach women by providing tips, tools, and strategies. So
I love it. I love it. And for those of you who don't know, Julie has a networking group. That's how we met. And I have joined hers as many times as I can. And she has come to our first ever women's authentic networking group that I hosted last week. So it's been a great connection. And I'm really excited to just dive into these pieces. And I would love for you to start wherever you want to start. I know you've been through quite a few things and you've come out on top.
mm, I mean, if you want to ask me questions, or do you want me to just go into it?
You can go into it. I know I've taken some notes on the few things that you mentioned, growing your business while being neurodivergent.
Yeah. All right. So I guess I'll start with that, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really talk about it. It's only in the last couple of years I've really decided to just open up myself and talk about being like a neurodivergent, but I wouldn't say I'm like a diagnosed neurodivergent. I've been somebody that's been kind of living with being on the autism spectrum for like, I don't know, all of my life, right? So, and it was never diagnosed because I also grew up in like the 90s, which was like kind of like the dark ages, and a lot of people weren't really aware of like the fact that when you're autistic, there's so many different spectrums, and then that people didn't know what to do with you if you didn't if you weren't normal, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
because there wasn't a lot of resources for it, and just even if you grew up in a family where it was just I wouldn't say closed-minded, but they, they were aware. They weren't aware either, and they also grew up in the dark ages where it wasn't really talked about. So yeah, you had to kind of live with that. And growing up in my like, it was weird because I was at home and I would be completely myself, but then when I got out in society or in school, like I would mask this kind of thing. Like it was just something in me that clicked, and I knew how to do that. I knew how to be like my crazy self at home, but then once I was out in public, I was shy. I didn't talk in class, and I had to try to hide like my physical symptoms of like being on the autism spectrum, and that costed me a lot of bullying in school because just I guess I look different, and oh, she's weird, she doesn't want to talk to us, she doesn't want to socialize with us. So obviously one person thinks that, and then everybody else is just like, oh, let me stay away from her. So it just caused a lot of rejection in school from other kids, and just being taunted and all that kind of stuff. So that really was a big deal at one point. It brought a lot of trust issues, and
Yeah.
I just because I went through like really bad bullying, like from grade 3 until like grade 6, or maybe it died down in grade 5. I don't remember, but yeah, most of my life it was just that was what I had to go through, and it wasn't easy. You know what I mean? Being misunderstood and being having an undiagnosed condition that nobody
Yeah.
knew about, and yeah, so that
And
was like,
living your life through that and with it, and not knowing fully, but knowing that it was something there. And let's be honest, kids are assholes. I have
mm,
to say this to my daughter all of the time because she's 8 years old and she wouldn't wear shorts to school. I'm like, well, why aren't you wearing shorts? Because kids are making fun of my legs. They're hairy. Can we shave them?
mm,
No, you're 8 years old. You're not shaving your legs yet, but wear the shorts. Don't let other kids say anything to you. And
yeah,
it's sad. I find it sad watching my kids go through it. I find it sad how mean kids really are. And then as we grow into adults, it's all the same things moving forward, and just everyone's judgy and this and that. And like learning to recognize, and I say this to my kids, it means nothing about you. Everything that they are saying is nothing about you. It is a reflection of where they are
mm-hmm,
at.
yeah,
So it sucks that you had to go through that as a child
yeah.
and then move through that, growing up. When did it shift for you?
I would say even though like I left elementary school and I didn't have to really see all those kids again because I refused to go to the same school, I still kind of had to deal with a little bit of it in a high school going. I mean, I went to 3 different high schools. I mean, it was just how it took me, but I think in high school I was still a target for bullying too, but like not as bad. Because I was still quiet, I still didn't have a voice, and it was just hard for me to really speak up when necessary. And even sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh, I should have said this, I should have done this. But
Yeah.
it's like knowing what you know now, knowing then what you know now, it's like, what can you do at this point? But um, how did it shift for me? I think it took a while, like to be honest with you. I went through school. I think it was mostly like in my late 20s, and I was still bullied in the workforce as well. Like, I started my first job when I was 22, and then I just really needed a job at that time because I was going to university, and I put up with a lot of crap from my boss, where she was like really stressing me out to perform better and just being very judgy, and just putting it very hard to the point where like it took a toll on my health.
Yeah.
Like the stress took a toll, and it like, I mean, I already had underlying heart disease, it seemed like, but I think it just manifested and made it worse. So like I'm on pills for the rest of my life. I almost had a heart attack, like
At
I don't know.
22?
Well, I had high blood pressure. I started getting high blood pressure around 22, and then I think when I was like 27 or like 20, yeah, like mid 20s, I think I had like an angina attack. So
Wow.
like, which is like, like a mini heart attack, so to speak. So I was in and out the hospital a couple of times, and then after that, I ended up getting like a angioplasty or angiogram, which is like they had to input like 2 stents, so like to keep my arteries from narrowing, or like because I couldn't breathe after a while. I was getting shortness of breath. I was having high blood pressure, like and my heart is not really this 100% the same anymore. So yeah, like having gone through that too, And then when I left that job due to like stress and just exhaustion, I ended up going to a couple of other jobs where I was still experiencing work for workplace bullying too, you know. So it's like I would say like maybe my early 30s or so, or not in like maybe the last 5 years or so, where it's really like I just found my voice and I'm like, you know what, enough is enough. That's it. I'm not putting up with this crap. My health is more important, and that's when I really started talking about my autism and they're going through this disease at like a young age where like you know this is something an 80-year-old person is supposed to be going through, not a 27-year-old person, right? And um what else? I know though, but it was just like those two main factors, like just really put a like shock in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, and I just and it's good that I like to talk about especially the bullying because it's weird. A lot of women or a lot of parents they go you know they drop their kids off to school and they're never like 100% aware of like how what capability their child is. They don't know that their child is it could be part of like a you know be a bully itself and the child could be in a gang or in like you know what I mean like you
Yeah.
don't know like what your kid is going through what your kid is doing and you know they come home and they're all sweet and innocent but then they go back out there and then they're like targeting and you know targeting other people you know so like I think it's good I think nowadays more parents need to be more aware but I think more teachers are also starting to like you know talk to the parent and say yeah you know your child is being a bully or your child did this as opposed to back then parent teachers never really got involved so I
Yeah.
think half that's I think that's why like kids in my era were able to get away with it because I had to tell my mom and my mom had to tell the school or talk to the kid directly
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more, I don't want to say accepted because that's not the right word, but it's looked for a lot more now, especially when bullying and, we have social media and different ways of bullying that it's more watched, it's watched closer because of the social media pieces and I mean my kid gets in fights on Snapchat. I'm like, who gets in a fight on Snapchat with another kid, like, really? But that's what this world has come to. And I was sharing on the last episode, for me, I was never bullied, I was never picked on, but I also never put up with anyone's shit, so I don't have that experience. But for my kids, like watching them, it's trying to guide them and be aware, if anything happens, they come to me, they will tell me. My son nicely told me what last Friday, he's like, Mom, I might be getting in a fight tomorrow at school. I'm like, what? But he's telling me. I'm like, okay, well, can you make it before 11 a.m. or after 12 p.m.? Because I can't come get you from the office between 11 and 12. I'm working.
Mm.
But, not telling him to get in a fight, but he's sticking up for his girlfriend because someone's talking shit about her. And as a mom, that makes me proud that he's sticking up for her. I told him, do not start it, do not throw the first punch, but like, kids are assholes, and that's what I had to explain to him because he's going through it. He went through it when they first started dating back in the summer, and
Mm.
I just said, like, they're jealous. Like, these kids are jealous. Your girlfriend is gorgeous, and they don't have a girlfriend, so yeah, they're gonna say mean things because that's what kids do. It's nothing about you, and it's nothing about her. It's horrible to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what's worse, like, you know, the cyberbullying, which I didn't have to go through, or like the in-your-face bullying, which yeah, I think maybe the in-your-face bullying was worse because you never knew what you were coming to school to face, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think they go hand in hand because you're dealing with it online, but then you don't know what you're going to school to face. And that's what he said. I might be. I'm like, well, you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But even, around the subdivision, there's one kid, like, I just moved, and there's one kid who's bullying my daughter. I we watched him pushing her because I'm like, and we were all in, I'm pointing, my kitchen's this way so I can see it. We were all in the kitchen, the boys and I, and we were watching this kid pushing her because I'm like, one of you two better get ready. I'm like, Owen, my middle child, because he's the closest to their age, I'm like, you better get your shoes on because if he pushes her one more time, I want you out there sticking up for your sister. I can't go hit a kid, but you can. Because it's not
Mm.
acceptable. And then I'd be finding this kid's parents. Like, just the things that I truly think it comes down to parenting.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have taught my kids to be respectful to everyone. My middle child last year said there was a kid in his class who wasn't bringing lunch to school. So we started packing some extra snacks because he was sharing his food. So I'm like, pack extra snacks for him. Like, I'm trying to teach them to be respectful to everyone. Oh, I think we lost you.
You there?
No, you're there.
Yeah.
It froze, but we could still hear
Yeah,
you.
sorry, my electricity I think finally went off since it was supposed to be off since 8:30, and I think now they decided to turn it off. So I have to talk to you in the dark. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We can still see you. I know we just got sidetracked on the conversation, but it's still like it's a big conversation to be had. And I'm gonna read this comment. I have to scroll. Sorry,
Yeah.
everyone. I think it's important to
Hi,
be more
Jolanda.
involved. Yeah, to be more involved in the school. I try to attend all meetings. I don't attend any of the meetings. Oh shit, cancel. I might be horrible for that, but I'm very involved with the teachers, except for this year because my middle child has like 4 teachers, and I haven't met my daughter's teacher yet with her just moving back, but I'm definitely involved in everything that goes on, and they tell me everything that goes on. And being in a smaller school for the 2 younger ones is really nice. Like, it's a very close knit school. I can call and the secretary instantly knows who you are, which I love.
One thing I will say is because I was very shy and I didn't talk and I didn't have a voice. I didn't know how to use my voice. So I think in this instance, like if you can talk to somebody, make sure you like talk to your parent. I mean, if you're close to your teacher and you want to talk to your teacher, great. But I learned that like if in order for me to survive this ordeal and to be grounded, I had to make sure to tell my mother, like, this is what's going on. This is who's picking on me. And she would take the matters in her own hands. Like sometimes she will write letters to the principal. Sometimes she'll come down to the school and speak to the teacher. And then if it came down to the last resort, she would physically come down to the school and talk to the kid itself and tell them, don't mess with her anymore, and this, that, and the other. And I mean, that was a big deal, and kids hated it because they're like, oh, you're always telling your mother, and you have to go tell your mother everything that's going on, and they hated it. But it's like, well, what do you want me to do? Like you're picking on me, or you know what
It's
I
your
mean?
job as a parent to, have that trust with your child that they will come to you.
Yeah.
For me, that's how I see it. My daughter's my youngest, so obviously she gets picked on the most. But she's got quite the saucy attitude on her. And before I left it was when I had just left my ex. She was getting picked on the bus, and my middle child sat beside her, and my oldest was still at the same school. He sat at the back. And we basically said, the next time this kid pulls your hair, you tell her that your brother is going to punch him in the face. I know, you guys, my parenting sometimes isn't the best, so it is what it is. But, this kid was consistently pulling her hair. And Owen's a little thing, so he wasn't doing anything. Nicholas is a big kid, and we told the bus driver full out. We said, we have given Nicholas permission to punch this kid the next time he picks on Emma and pulls her hair. Like, he was pulling her hair hard. Because the bus driver's response was, I am doing all I can do. We had gone through the proper escalation. And he's like, Nicholas is a big kid. Yeah. But it got to the point that the bus dropped them off, and we were both there. I went back to the house because the bus dropped them off right in front of the driveway. And we were waiting for that kid's mother because the proper steps were being taken, but nothing could be done. We finally went to the parents because I'm like, this is getting out of hand. And we full out told her, the next time your son pulls her hair, this one has permission to hit him. Like, he's going to come flying at him because that's what he's been told to do, stand up for his sister. And, well, it didn't happen again. Yeah. But you have to have that trust and be able to have, for me, the fact that the kids will come to me and say, this is what's going on, is a level of safety, I think, for them at the same time. because it is really bad. And then we throw in social media on top of it. You know, not so much the younger two, but 100% my oldest. It's
Yeah, and you see what happens when the kids don't, when they internalize all these feelings, and then what they go and they shoot up the schools, or they go and
yeah,
they commit suicide, and those two things weren't. Yeah, I was bullied. I told my mom all the time, and I thank God. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
yeah,
Hi, Joenda. Thank you so much for watching. But yeah, I'm the same way as if I didn't have my mom as my support system, I don't know what would have happened, right?
yeah.
Because look what's happening to the world, and how people just internalize their feelings and they don't they go and they take it out, they snap and they go take it out on
Yeah,
other people. And and back in my day, that wouldn't have even been a thought, but now it's like it's turned to violence.
yeah. Because a lot of people don't know how to sit with their emotions and they don't know how to process their emotions. So instead, you know, and for me, in my opinion, bullying is a lot of people who don't know how to express their emotions, or they hate themselves, they hate their own lives, so they make themselves feel better by picking on
Mhm.
someone else.
Oh yeah.
And I think we could, if we can raise our next generation to be able to understand their emotions and understand what they're going through, we're all going to see a better change.
And it doesn't
And
help too. Some of these kids come from like toxic homes, and I guess
yeah,
that's their way of like taking out their anger, right? So
yeah, 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 for sure. But on a different note, you've survived through all of this and you have your business. I know you have a book that I would love for you to share about and share with the audience, you know, what it is, where they can find it. And I want to actually post it in the caption after.
yeah. So I know we could probably go all day talking about bullying because it's such a strong subject, but yeah. So after when I went through school and I realized that I didn't, I don't know, it was just something in me. I felt like having going through all these ordeals that I wanted to make a difference in people's lives and just talk about it and share it with other people. So it'll make me feel better as well, right? So that's how I ended up in the online business, just helping women, and I ended up co-authoring a book with 19 other authors. It's called Becoming an Unstoppable Woman in Faith, and it's on the Amazon bestseller list at the moment. So you could get a paperback copy or an ebook copy, and I share more of my story, or like basically you got like a synopsis of my story, but it's going to be the same thing that you're going to be reading, and it's very powerful. So I want everybody to have some kind of takeaway about it, and I just felt it was time to share my story, and I'm going to continue to keep doing that in any platform that I could get the opportunity. So
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love coming to your networking meetings because there's such a diverse community. We all bring something different to the table. And I love that because we get to have those powerful conversations as well, and different points of view. And there's just so many positive things. I'm so happy that you could come on the show and share these pieces because so many women do still feel alone through all of the things that they've experienced, or they could still be currently going through. Like, adult bullying online here is a thing, and it's disgusting. And if someone has still experienced that, or if someone's not showing up and sharing their voice because of and you're catching this episode, know that you're not alone, and we are here to support you. And there are communities to support you in what you're experiencing, because we don't judge, we don't bully, we have room for everyone. That's what it is. It's a community of women coming together to support each other. So I would love for you to I forget what I was going to say. I literally just lost my train of thought. Wow. I'm going to share your book in the caption, as well as where everyone can connect with you. And if someone is looking for, a community and space and resonates with Julie's story and all of the pieces, her networking events are amazing, as well as her Facebook group. So I'll just put your handle in the caption for everyone to connect with you. And then
yeah.
from there we can move them everywhere else. But is there anything you wanted to leave the audience with?
um I guess maybe like I like to listen to Steve Harvey from time to time, and
Love
uh,
Steve.
yeah, and one of my favorite quotes from him is, get comfortable being uncomfortable, and that's what I had to do to really like establish myself in this space. So, just whatever is, as you can see from my backstory, I had to really get comfortable being uncomfortable to like really thrive. So, you just make sure that if you really want to get where you're going, you have to really like face the uncomfortable, and then so you could be more comfortable, so to get where you want to be, right? So
I have a question for you, actually.
yeah.
Do you find now you still sometimes have to step back and think, I'm not saying what I want to say, and have moments where you are still hiding a little bit and then you recognize it so that you can step into it?
Um, Good question. Yeah, I still feel like there's a lot of me left to talk about. Like, it's even come to a point where I'm envisioning myself like make turning my story into like a Netflix or like a Netflix special or a Prime special. Like, I feel like it's gotten to that point where I need to like maybe turn this into a movie because I don't know. It's just something inside of me that's saying like you have to keep
Go
giving
bigger.
more. Yeah, go bigger. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's I don't know if I'll ever get that opportunity, but just so something inside of me is trying to like tell me that I need to go in that direction, or like
I,
even go in a talk show and talk about it.
yeah,
So yeah.
it's spreading awareness, and that's something that I resonate with, because that's my goal right now, is spreading awareness on the things that I've experienced and been through, so that it can get out there, so that more women can see that they are not alone, and we do have experiences that we can support them through. So I love that, and I think it's an amazing vision to have, and there's always little ways to get things started.
Hmm.
So that's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm going to drop your handle in the caption for everyone to connect with you, and the link for your book I will put in the caption as well. I know Instagram doesn't like external links, but we're going to do it anyways. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me, and thank you, Joenda, for coming. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, send me a DM or anything. But I'm happy to share my story.
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful that you've come on here to share your story. And for anyone catching the replay, you can drop anything in the comments as well, and we will reply to you.
Awesome.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye, everybody.